All right.
Thank you.
Call the meeting to order at 5:46. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We are reopening our public hearing for the town budget. So that, I know last week we went through a lot of lines, made a lot of cuts. Select board is proposing cutting on the insurance line. Or not, yeah, that would be the one to cut. So instead of that line being at 103,891.25, bringing that down to $69,260.84.
What line do you want?
4155-10.
And health insurance line. There it is.
I'm fine with that.
What do they want it to do?
So it's a recommendation. If we're gonna cut a line,
Yeah.
to cut that line. Right now it's buffered with an extra single plan and then a 2-family plan, which, so we drop it down to 2 of each. And then if it needs to be changed, the town can vote to change that.
So it's, right now it's buffered at 2 singles and 2.
No, one single,
One single.
one 2-family buffer.
Right, because right now, we have 2 open positions for the police.
Right.
So should we hire anybody, we would have released the coverage for a single person and a person. We don't even talk about our family plan. So now.
So it's a single, it's an individual plus one, you mean?
Right, so you can do single, 2-person, or family. So right now, what I would suggest, I guess I would say is, you could cut it down so that it's only covering the people we have employed. However, should we employ anybody during the year? But
Yeah.
the recommendation will be made at town meeting to up that with the thought, we are going to hire people during the year and we are going to need to fund that line.
Yeah.
So, but
Because
in
we can't-
order for you to meet your tax cap,
Right, yeah. How much is the difference between a family plan and employee plus one and a single? Like, what are the?
so a single is like 11.5. Two-person is 23,000, and a family is 31.
Okay.
That's the 100% amount.
That's the 100% amount, right?
And what is the employee contributing?
10%. So you take 90% of those numbers. That's what the town is obligated to pay.
Wasn't that supposed to be going up?
No.
Last year, town meeting, it was voted to cap it for the employees.
To 10, yeah.
Yeah,
To be the same as with the school.
not gonna lie, so yes. That is really good, I mean, really good deal,
Because on average, it's
I think it depends on what municipality you're looking
But I
at.
mean, I think and we do work with health trust to make sure we get a good coverage plan, but also a good bang for our buck. So,
Is there a lot to choose from when you're?
I don't know, they give you several different ones, and, we try and stay with what we currently have, but, we might have to, like, I think this year we went from maybe a copay from, let's say, maybe it's 15 to maybe it's gone up to $20 or whatever, there are certain things that have changed, but we try to have minimal impact with minimal cost, additional cost to the employee. But yeah. So, I mean, to just cover what we currently have, that would be 60, which is the 69,260.82. So that would reduce the overall budget by about 34.6.
So you don't even have a buffer for family, it's just.
No.
Yeah, even as, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't do like a family and a single. or no?
We're already over the budget now.
Well,
You got cuts.
I know, but no, with the way, because a lot of times, like, a
Oh,
lot.
no, I would have, but I mean, I'm trying to keep the numbers as low
Right,
as,
yeah.
I mean, so.
Alright. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
With knowing
We've got to
that,
make the funds, we
Yeah.
can't present.
And the other recommendation I have, I'll shoot the messenger, Christine, is to reduce the planning board legal line for your difference. So that line would go down to need to, I think it's 5,215 to get requested at
Yeah.
that point. I would reduce that line to 2,285. Again, we can address that at the town meeting. I think those are the two cleanest lines to probably, without nitpicking on different lines, that would be my, that's what I would recommend.
Is that, I just want to make sure my number matches your,
Oh, but do it, don't do that. Well, no, okay, so your number, let me see if I find the board of selectmen.
I'm just making sure that, like,
So what do you have for total number?
what's your mind wrong? Something's wrong on my.
Are you talking about your, are you talking about just the budgeted expenses?
Yeah. Some- Go over on my side. It's fine, so with those, if we were to go with that legal line as that, I have it as 1,827,365.95. Wait, my number is,
Yeah. We can get through the line, we don't buy one. Well, let's just do this, Sarah. Let's go to the top section, the executive.
yeah,
What do you have for subtotal there? 164, 533, 61?
I have,
Make adjustments, see.
it's 56 cents, mine is at 56 cents.
Okay, well, whatever.
Oh, it was, that's changed, but yeah.
So then you have for the 4100, well, the court line, the next section is 34,235.
Yep,
Then, one, 60,215.
yep,
Okay, the assessing is 28,816.
yep,
Then you have 20 for attorney.
yes.
Then my line I have next is 281,492.83. You should have, hold on, I hope it's math right.
I'll second.
You should have 246,860, 240.
42, but yeah.
Okay,
that's
well,
fine.
that's-
Yeah,
Then the next section, I have 13,526. You
well, that would be, if we were to go that route.
You should have 8,311.
Yep.
Okay. Then, CBA, you have 4,351.
Yep,
Then for government, it's 45,388.19.
yes. Yeah,
Is that really good?
yep,
Okay. Then, property liability, 63,362.
Yep.
And police at 329.24.
yep.
EMS at 91.
What?
91,000.
Oh, I have this as EMS and fire together.
Oh, so, well, I can put them together. That's at 171,741.
Yep.
CEO is 10,194.
Yep.
Then you have 500 for emergency management, scratch and dispatch is 5,500.
I think that's where it is. I think I don't have an extra break discount.
That's 4299.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And that's for 5,500.
Yeah, and then the next section of highway is 366, 686.
Yep.
And government again, that's the tonnage, and so 217, 600.
Yeah.
Then you have AC, that's 505 for the ACO. Also, that's cheaper now, it's the 4414.
Yeah.
Yep, that is 505. And then donations, it's 8,000. That's on DNA,
Yeah.
community action.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's at 8,000. Then we have the welfare is 10,247.2.
Yep.
Then each maintenance and patriotic 1,800.
Yes.
Then I have the conservation at 2,101.
Yep.
And then it's like CRFs. So we'll skip those and we don't find there. Then we have the highway block grants. Oh, you probably don't have the highway block grant.
Yeah, I got that.
61,860. You need to include that in there. 61,860. That's gonna be the difference, I bet. And then we have the employer, social security, Medicaid, that's 41,000.
Yeah.
So I think if you add all those, if you're, while we were off, you didn't have the block grants, so let me add that into your number. You didn't have the 55.
Right.
If you add those in, you should be still. Yeah, that's good. So you should have like 1,994,687.
All right, what do you have?
I think if you check the number that you initially gave me, you have 1,827,326. We added the highway block grant and then that 5,500 for the dispatch.
Yeah.
That puts you at 1,894,687. Well, I should be, I mean, we might be right in here.
I have 1,894,725.
All right,
but
which is
either-
fine, I'm not,
whatever.
whatever. But that should get you, that would get you at 2%. So that's what I, that's, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can go through the sections again if you want.
Yeah, that does bring us right up to 2%.
Yeah. So you just need to sometimes maybe, you know, so that's what your numbers are, that's what you want to give us, that printout of what you have, so we make sure we get it into our,
Right.
into DRA correctly. But I mean, some of you just, if they're good with that, they can make a motion to accept that number, that we have that final 1.8 number. With the adjustment saying you, so you're gonna keep all the numbers the same, you're gonna adjust
Those two,
how,
yeah.
those 2 lines, and it brings you your total, so you know that's all you can do is go over the final number, you don't have to go through each section.
So I'm all set on
Yeah. Because you still have to go through your
that.
warrant.
All the warrant articles, yeah.
But those are easy, you just recommend, you don't recommend, that's all.
Okay. All right, what are you guys thinking? So basically, we're cutting from the insurance line and what other line? It was the planning board legal. I mean, I personally don't like it as somebody who's on the planning board, just.
I don't either, because I'm on the plan.
I know, and I get it, like, you gotta cut, we gotta cut from somewhere, but I don't like it on the per se of like, it's kind of backwards thinking, it's like, I would rather have that money available so we can be proactive and do it right the first time versus having errors and then possible like legal issues.
So
But-
what I would suggest, Christine, is at the town meeting, you get up when we go to vote that warrant article and say, I want to increase this line by $5,000. might be $250, whatever, $5,000, because that
This
amount
is-
had to be cut in order to
Be able to
meet the tax cap.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I certainly am not supportive of cutting the helpline, but without nitpicking every other line and trying to find, you know, what I mean, and that we can just speak to that one for me, it sounds like we can get them to speak to just this week.
Right.
The budget committee can cut this line, we hire somebody, we need to have those benefits,
Yeah.
so, versus having to,
I just feel frustrated of the fact that you guys went ahead and approved raises and gave more money without it being voted on initially. Like, I mean, I know you've gotta be competitive and everything, but I mean, like the police chief salary going up 27% is,
part of that position is absorbing prosecution as well. I mean, I'm not saying just by all, but I mean, you know, we only went with a 3% increase for some of the salary lines, not all salary lines, step back, whatnot. Yeah, we understand what we're facing, and it's tough. You know, that's not an easy sell, but, you know, we knew we were going to be able to give it to you and saying, where can you find it? Because we certainly couldn't find it.
yeah. I mean, especially when you're already like offering people like much more than what the leaving position is. It's,
Hey, that's the name of the game though, right? Like at this point.
I mean, I believe it is to a point, but at the same token, it's like coming in here to this town and looking at what other towns are offering for benefits and the percent and their contribution, you are contributing a significant less amount as an employee than if you were in another town.
Like,
Well-
for, like retirement?
No,
really?
for health insurance and stuff, and that's like
You pay
huge.
15%, and it's not a huge difference in.
But I mean,
Yeah.
and so around here, it's, I have seen, because I look, it's anywhere from like 25 and 30%. I mean, some of them are 20%, but on average, you're like looking between like 25.
But the other thing is, but we don't offer, some of our employees, they're not in their retirement, their future retirement system.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I get that. I mean, I get that there's a balance, but like the one, I mean, right now we only have one. But I mean, that's like a huge impact to our budget for like police who come in, and if they have a family plan or even a family in one.
But I suppose we could vote as a board, I think, is to say, if you have a spouse that can get insurance through their employer, then they're not allowed to be, then we're not covering them. I mean, that's what my company does that. Because Jim can get insurance, I can't cover him with my insurance, I can't take the family plan.
And I mean, and I'm all for that because it's like, yeah, no.
Wow.
You know, because my company doesn't want to cover him.
Well, yeah.
If they don't have to, because, so I'm just saying, and rightfully so, right? If you can get benefits through your employer, yes.
Then you go for it. It's, John and I always did that because it was always cheaper too.
How would they find out that you have a spouse that is able to access benefits?
Well, so what I have to do is if if Jim was self-employed, I would have to sign an affidavit.
I got you.
So basically, for him to find out that, if he found out that he did have a job
I got you.
with benefits, then I probably would owe all that premium and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just like in Massachusetts, you have to show proof of insurance to do your taxes. Yeah, so.
So I mean, that's just one way to maybe
Yeah.
circumvent the.
It's, because it's like, it's benefits for the employee, not necessarily for like the employee and everybody in their family.
Right.
It's, I mean, I hate to sound harsh, but this is coming out of taxpayers' money.
Because I mean,
We've got no expenses
technically, I
going.
think it is cheaper if I got on his plan here, but I choose not to for other reasons, but. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's all, I mean, we're trying to work on different ways to stretch that dollar and it's tough. So I can tell you, with an impact that the Board of Selectmen is recommending, which is, so just 4% versus 2%.
Right.
It was like a 15-cent tax increase. 15 cents. So, this, so I'm thinking I didn't think that was bad, but now we're coming in increase, but I mean, so.
I'm fine with this stuff, but I need to read that.
John?
Oh, sorry, John.
I was just, one area that personally I think could be cut is police overtime, because I think we want to disincentivize the chief from accessing overtime. I have a big problem with that, to be honest, that he's what he perceives as a need for overtime, maybe not what the average taxpayer would perceive as a need for overtime. So I think that budget can be contracted some, make him have to manage things a little bit differently. That's my own belief, but I know it won't be popular. People will definitely not agree with me at town meeting, but that's my position.
Because my thought was, when I was looking at all of it, is he gets his salary.
Yeah.
And then any overtime, we're not just paying him the overtime, but we're also paying his retirement.
Yes.
And that's a big chunk of money that adds up very quickly. I mean, anybody who gets the retirement for the retirement system, and I would say that if any of the other departments got the retirement, it's because it's not like the 3% or the 2% that like the regular private people get. It's a much higher percentage. It's at 31. Yeah. So I mean, 31% of his 98,800 is a good chunk of change compared to if it was a private sector person getting 3%.
So I just want to throw out there that the police full-time is at 117,000. We cut that line, knowing that we don't have any full-time officers, and that by the time we get somebody in, we're not going to have a full year's worth of salary. So that line's going to go up next year. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking between the 117 and the 26, that's probably going to just barely cover your 2 full-time people next year. So we had a discussion with Scott, and I told him, I said, I understand, because he was asking for 100, I think it was, he was asking for 137.
Yep.
We cut it down because we knew by the time we got somebody in here, you're not going to pay a full year's salary, because they're not going to stop maybe until March or April, so you're going to pay 3/4 of the year. So I said, are you good with us? We're going to keep that, knowing that that number will go up next year, because then it'll be based off the full salary, but we need to cut somewhere in order to meet the tax cap.
Right.
So that's where that rationale is coming from. So I get what you're saying, John, about the overtime, but I think that overtime is going to be somewhat absorbed into the full-time to pay the full-time officer. I will tell you that if you go up to the police retirement line, which is in the 4155 section, that 71,000 that's all formula based. It's all based off of the police chiefs, the full-time, part-time, in overtime. It's based off of those salaries at that percentage. So we shouldn't we shouldn't go over on this line, because that is taking into account the percentage we have to pay, which is basically, if we pay out those salaries, this is what we're obligated to pay for police retirement.
Right.
So, and where I could, I kind of did that with certain things, it's, okay, we know what this is, it's formula driven, we don't have control over what that number is, based off of this, we control the salary, then the salary dictates the retirement.
So the numbers that we plugged in last week, are those going to stay on top of the other 2 recommendations or
So-
suggestions?
This would be with keeping all those other numbers the same as the select board, but changing the life insurance and possible planning board legal.
The insurance and the board.
Yeah.
The reason why I would recommend that is it just makes it cleaner overall, to get up at town meeting and say, these versus to say, oh, you cut this line, so I want to, just a warrant article 1, I want to increase this line by 5,000 because this, and this. And getting up from warrant article 2, which is like, say, your
It's just
police
looking
and
at
fire,
the
well,
changes.
so that was why I said, if you took it out of health and you take it out of planning board, at least you can get able to speak to those 2 articles versus
Every line.
every other line that got That's just my memory.
Because at the end of the day, there's a bottom line budget.
Yes,
We can turn around and say like, no, we don't want you to spend X amount of dollars, and you can go ahead and spend double that in that line and take it from somewhere
Yes,
else.
we can,
So.
which I try not to.
I know. So where's the police at with their repairs on their vehicles?
From,
So I talked to Scott the other night. Some of the vehicles do need some work on them, but the ones that he's utilizing right now, the ones that he's driving, he's alternating them. One of them does need some significant repair. He had it brought down to the Ford dealership. Need wheel
The
bearings.
SUV?
No, it's one of the cars, I believe. The car, actually, it was one of the cars and the SUV.
Yeah.
We have a Ford car?
No,
Say that again?
we have Dodge.
Dodge.
Two Dodges.
And the SUVs are
Ford.
Ford.
Dodge, yeah.
My thought is just, if there's talk about getting rid of some, which I personally think like the department doesn't need 6 vehicles, because I'm including the ACO. Don't waste your time in the taxpayers' dollars fixing them up, because you're gonna put them to auction or to bid, and you're not gonna get back what you put in it, because anybody going to bid on a vehicle like that, they're going for as cheap as can be, and most people either have the mechanical skills or know their buddy can do it.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, I need a beater car because I'm gonna drive it till the wheels go off because I had to do high mileage, or it's for their teenager that they know is, for a snowstorm, they're gonna wreck it.
Right, so.
So I'm like, don't waste, because I spoke with Scott too, and he was like, oh, I wanna get them all up and going, and then I'm like, no. Like, pick 3 cars or 4, like, pick the ones that you need, and then just be like, cut your losses and get rid of the other ones.
I think his plan was to get them all up and running, but after talking to him last night, with some of the work that some of them need, it's just not in the budget to get them fixed right now.
Yeah, I was,
Right, so, because what was presented, which the numbers that were provided by the department head, they wanted, so last year, this 2024 was a $3,000 vehicle maintenance repairs. They were looking for $9,000.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen put that back to $3,000. Also, with the understanding is, they have the detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their revolving
If
fund
they
that
have
they can
to,
use.
I'm like, that's kind of like, I know you don't like that, but I'm like,
hey, that's what
we
it's
gotta
there
do what
for.
we gotta do. So I think West keeping it at 3,000 was kind of a statement in saying that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they should cut their losses, and then whatever they get, write a warrant article next year and ask for that money to go into their revolving fund and, buffer it back up, but I don't feel as though
Well, I
that,
think they're gonna try and work with, we can, with more details to kind of build that.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing Scott had said is, other towns around us have been calling for details, which the
there's
detail.
been a ton in Farmington.
Yeah, it goes into the new cruiser fund, so some of it goes into it, so.
Yeah.
If he can get up and do the details, we can get the money into it, then potentially down the road,
Do we
get rid
have,
of some of them.
do we have any part-time officers that actually like come in and work?
So all of our part-time guys left.
The only one we
Really
had
kind of
was
wide.
Steve Ivan, who
Yeah.
retired.
Yeah.
He was only doing like 1 day a month.
Yeah.
He was like a weekend warrior.
He did Sundays.
He did
Yeah.
last Sundays a month, so.
He was like a National Guardsman. Uh,
And I don't want to speak out of line on Scott with the overtime rate, but the other thing I did talk with him about is his salary.
yeah.
I don't think he's putting in for anything other than his time he's working more.
No, and I get it, like, and I know, especially when softball season comes and sports with his daughter, like, he's not gonna have the ability to do it. But I'm just thinking, like, we've got to be cognizant because of his position is not that traditional chief that sits in an office all day and pushes papers.
But it will be once we get.
No, I think I always say,
And the idea was that we have coverage, from.
Yeah, we didn't get hired as an admin chief.
no,
Yeah, Monday through Sunday.
yeah.
Which is right
If-
now,
Because all of our chiefs have always been patrol chiefs, but there's
Which
always
is
been,
what he will be.
which is what he'll be as well, but there's been other staff to kind of.
Well, I just I
absorb.
figured you probably wouldn't be patrolling as much, once we
Yeah.
actually start prosecuting our own cases, there's not gonna be any time really for him to be patrolling, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll probably be a little while.
Well, and
But at some
hopefully,
point,
hopefully there won't be a
that'll
need
help.
to. I mean, hopefully we can everything.
So,
Keep it on the other side of the border.
Just to let you know, so if we did the, I think it was like it's a 15 cents, so I actually, for some reason, 17 cents. If that increase, so on a house that's $500,000 in town, $500,000 is probably enough. It's like an $85 increase to your tax bill for the year.
I went to school.
But hey, we're not talking about that, we're talking about town.
Exactly.
Don't wanna get my blood pressure up.
$250,000 is $42.50, just kind of give you an idea. But that's based off of what the Board of Selectmen will recommend. So if the town stays with just the tax cap, it would probably be like 9 cent increase.
You guys don't know you don't know where you guys landed for like last year with the budget, do you?
Yeah.
You do?
We have maybe like $17,000 up to it.
Okay, that's
fine.
that's really good. Okay, that is like,
That's good.
yeah,
Well, because I mean, you don't want to. You,
yeah.
I mean, it's.
Don't hurt yourself, but yes.
I mean, you don't.
Well, I don't know, I think we would have had more, but we thought of some adjustments in this year, it's like, but, yeah.
I mean, the goal is not to have like a ton left over
No,
because that
right.
means you over budgeted, but it's not to be like, okay, we're 50 cents going into the red and
Right.
Yeah.
20,000, I just thought you.
pull the lint out of your pocket.
Hyperventilating.
Yeah.
So there are more adjustments now, so. Yeah.
And a lot of your lines are contracted lines, correct?
Yeah, there are
Well,
a
there's
lot.
a good portion of the ones that are higher are contracted, like our garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't
You
make
know,
that.
certain things they are.
And we're redoing our
Computers.
garbage this
That's
year.
gonna- Yes, that's gonna.
So it will be in next year's budget? Yeah.
Yeah,
Has anybody started talking,
yeah.
the talk with that?
No, I know before Scott left, he was talking to waste management, but I don't think he got any results yet.
Well, I think they were reaching out to see what we were paying.
Oh, they want to know what we paid, that's what it was.
They're like running out of room that they're dumped anyway, so it's, where are you gonna put it?
Drive down to the level of the hatch open.
Alright, so, what are we thinking?
I mean, it's, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You can turn around and then just take the bottom line and put it to 2% and then have everything go wherever, because it's a bottom line budget. So
Right.
if you pull from one area, they can pull from another area. Like, it's, at the end of the day, as long as you present a 2% or less increase, it doesn't really matter, like, where you cut it, because,
Well, it only matters when you're presenting it in the different articles.
Yeah.
So, because, Article 1 is like the government and
Yeah.
Article 2.
yeah,
That's why I said it'd be cleaner if you could just keep it to a couple of lines.
first, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want to figure all day, because there are like 2,000 warrant articles.
Yeah.
So Sierra's looking for somebody and entertain a motion.
So I'll make a motion that, I just put them on that bottom line.
Yeah, whatever that number is to you, I gave you.
So what is it?
That one,
Come on, I need readers. 1 million, is that what it is?
yeah.
1,894,700, is that 25.95?
I should have been bigger for you.
Yeah, I'm holding out until the summer to get my items to make insurance. So I made the motion, who wants to second that?
I'll second. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Well, I mean, we can discuss it. I mean, it's like, thinking about it, it's like, yeah, there's certain lines that I would specifically like to highlight and be like, no, I think it really should be cut, but
We can cut it
at
and
the,
then
Yeah.
we could still be paying
At
more
the end
and
of the
more.
day, it doesn't matter because it's a bottom line budget.
Next, we'll steal from Peter and pay Paul.
I mean, and it's just like the school, you can turn around and you can, same thing. So, I mean, we can go in,
All in
that's our
favor?
discussion, so
I. It passed. 5 to.
I mean, I guess if it was like a specific, like itemized budget, like line to where like
Yeah.
the board or the everybody was held to stay within their lines, like that would be, I think, much different. We would sit here and scrutinize, but at the end of the day, it's,
All right, we ready to move on to the warrant articles? You got a whole lot.
what your whistle, you're gonna need it to,
All right.
I don't want to call it. Yeah, I thought that was important. Do you have another one?
Oh.
If not, don't worry about it.
I
I have one.
I need one too.
I could have sworn.
No, I'm good. I just wanted to follow along.
Just kidding, I have them. I have them. You're good. I made enough copies. I wasn't sure what audience size we were gonna have. I didn't think it was gonna be massive or anything, but.
oh, so the ambulance revolving fund's on this. So the ambulance revolving fund, are we gonna stop pulling from that?
Yeah, I started.
Like, are we gonna like simmer down a bit because,
So I talked to Jared today about that as well, because he had a question about where the money went for the insurance that comes in. And I think this past month, we brought it in, correct me if I'm wrong, if you were, I think we billed out $21,000.
We haven't been reimbursed for that.
So far this year.
so it all depends on what the insurance company,
But
Is
I mean,
contracted.
Some of those have been self-pay.
which is what everybody has an issue with, is reimbursement when it comes to
He
medical.
stated at the meeting that I think the money that each like around 60.
With about 60%.
Yeah.
60%.
You did say that, yeah.
Okay.
On average, right, so.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, a whole month of self-pays, then it's probably 10%.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Could be.
but that money that comes in, Christine, that goes into the ambulance revolving.
yeah, so I'm just hoping that now, because last I tallied everything up, well, I accidentally did from like December to December instead of like, and it was like almost $40,000,
Yeah.
which I don't think you guys had a whole heck of a lot in that. I don't know how much you guys have in there now. You don't know? I mean, I remember when I was on the board 3 years ago, I don't think you guys like had like 30. So it's
It'll be
just,
nice to build it back up.
Well, there was monies being taken out to pay the police department out of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We stopped that.
yeah, but well, we stopped that like
Right.
3 years
I'm
ago.
saying that
Yeah.
Took a hit. on-
Yeah, but it's just, I hope that it stops and like, if anything, like consider taking it from the budget to pay Milton if we gotta pay him instead of that revolving.
We do take it from Milton, or we do take it from the, like, the shift pay.
But I thought you take pulling it ultimately from the ambulance.
No, not, no.
No, because it was being taken,
Initially, but it hasn't been for the past year. This past year, it all came out of the shift pay.
okay, good. Because my concern was that if you keep draining that down, when you need a ambulance, that's gonna cost,
Yeah. So in the last month and a half, we've covered all of our roll calls. We've had Milton come in for one mutual
I
aid.
think it was two mutually.
Two mutual aids,
They've done
and we've
since
had
the first
Wakefield come in,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been signed off, so that's where we've gotten all that money in this month already, so month and a half.
is Jared gonna start
And
talking?
we've done mutual aid calls to other towns.
Yeah.
So is Jared gonna talk to
Yes.
Milton about stop billing us now that we're holding our own?
Possibly, I can't.
Because I think that it would be
Yeah.
like kind of reasonable now if you guys, the whole point was so we would cover ourselves and
Yeah.
potentially help
I-
out.
We're only 1 month into
Yeah.
covering ourselves. So
I
I
know.
think
Well,
that conversation.
It is exciting though.
But
Very
it
exciting.
is because it's a lot of money that it's, it's gone and that's it. And
And I don't wanna speak on behalf of them.
We've been able to provide coverage for the town. That is the,
Yeah.
the goal is to have coverage.
And I don't wanna speak on behalf of anybody on the fire department or anything, but in the last, I'd say month and a half since Jared has come on, our department has grown tremendously. Covering our own calls, nights, days, weekends, going mutual aid for structure fires. The camaraderie back in the fire department, as being a member of there myself, is completely flipped. You got a lot of new people in the last couple of weeks, full-timer guys. We got some, like I said, I talked to Jared earlier, we got some bad weather coming in tomorrow. He's actually got it kind of staffed tomorrow in case there is anything that goes on in town, so.
He's bringing new life into the.
So
Yeah.
do you guys have people like hanging out here
We need it.
Oh, yeah.
a couple of days a week?
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
good.
so.
I'm just curious because it's like, you know, that's been the challenge of being able to take care of ourselves and then slowly make that transition to being that part-time staffed, and it takes a lot of money. And the concern is if we're throwing money out to another town,
Right.
we're never gonna be able to financially get ourselves there without really taking a hit.
To me, the 2% tax gap.
Well, you know,
All right. Let's move on, guys.
Put it down,
Ready.
put it down.
Don't want to be home early tonight. So,
You better get home.
silly.
all right. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, warrant articles. So Article A, to see if the town will vote to raise or appropriate the sum of $200,000 for the purpose of road construction and paving of various roads in town. This is a non-lapsing appropriation pursuant to RSA 32, is that colon 7?
Yeah.
V 6 or V1, whatever. It will not lapse until the road construction and paving is completed or December 31st, 2029, whichever is sooner, majority vote required. Okay. Discussion?
So we have someone.
Oh, somebody wants to recommend it.
Someone seconds.
Oh.
Discussion.
Alright.
Hold on, Sierra recommended it.
Well, I have to read them first.
So shall we?
I'll recommend it.
I'll second it.
Alright, discussion.
Hold on, what just happened there?
I recommended, Christine seconded,
Okay, thank you.
and now we're seeing if anybody wants to discuss it. This is one we do every year, right?
It's 200,000, it's what we ask for every year.
Is there, how much is in that? Or is that just the 200,000 and then?
There may be a little bit left over, but Dan, they use as much as they
Yeah.
can to do what they,
What they need to do.
So they might have 30,000 a year, but then, we know 200,000, maybe a quarter
Yeah. And it'll never be my road. Hell will
You're
freeze,
right.
hell will freeze over and then
That's
some.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, 5-0, you're next. Alright, yep. And I actually have that down too. Alright.
I don't ever forget it.
Or almost definitely last time. Article B, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the highway department vehicle capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required. I will recommend it.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
This is just the typical.
Yeah,
So were we able to fund all of our capital reserve funds after?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, this keeps your within your 2% tax. Because these are ones we did last year, the same amount, so here's basically, oh, wait, you did that one. So what was the vote?
We haven't voted.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Yep. Article C, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $13,000 to be added to the reevaluation capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required. I will recommend this one.
I'll second.
I will note that this was 10,000 last year, but 10,000 per year is not going to be.
No, it's not.
cover.
Right.
So we increased it to 13.
Because we ended up spending more, right, this last time. And when are we due again? In
Well, we just got read out last year, so we
So
went
20
4 years. We have
24, we were redone. Okay.
So there's an increase of like 3,000 per year. but last year was 10,000.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be enough to be our first in the first 5 years.
Yep.
So that's why that's increased to 13,000.
All right, anybody else? have anything? All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Article D, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be added to the self-contained breathing apparatus capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required. I will recommend this one.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
This isn't when we're getting to
Yeah.
each year.
Yeah. All in favor? All right. Okay, Article E, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 to be added to the natural or man-made disasters capital reserve fund previously established, majority vote required. I will recommend it.
I'll second it.
Discussion, I know this is another one
This is one that,
we do every year.
yeah. Year. It was like $18,000 in there. Well, 19 after this past year, so if we have a man-made natural disaster, hopefully it's not too bad, but we have 20,000 after this year to spend. So
So we have 18,000 now?
Yeah.
Buy maybe 200 pieces of one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Article F. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into a 10-year lease purchase agreement in the amount of $515,000 for the purchase of purchasing a fire truck with $140,000 to come from the fire department replacement vehicle capital reserve fund, $150,000 to come from unassigned fund balance, and to raise and appropriate $31,000 through taxation for the first year's lease payment. This lease will have an escape clause. Should this article pass, Article G will no longer be considered. Majority vote required.
So we're gonna vote to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll recommend it.
I'll second it so we can discuss it. So for the lease purchase, so is it a lease or are we buying it?
It's, you're right, it's with the written of the lease purchase, you're leasing it until it becomes the lease is paid and then it's purchased at that point in time. That's how that works.
Okay, so we're ultimately buying it.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So what will happen is, should this article pass, it's going to, because the next article is our typical one we usually do is the fire department replacement vehicle. That one will no longer be considered, and then until the lease is paid off, that article will not be put in as a warrant article each year because it will be, well, we do the lease payment in lieu of the fire department replacement vehicle. So we're looking for additional $5,000 in what we would normally do for $25,000. It's 1 cent difference over the tax that we have.
So,
Uh,
sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So for this one, it would be the 31,000 for, that we pay next year. Or we pay this year.
And then 31,000 until the remaining
Okay.
lease would be paid up. At what point when that was done, then the following year, we would go back to the regular
Article G.
department replacement vehicle reserve fund.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to double hit the taxpayer.
So there's no other vehicles coming up for the fire department that we'll need to be buying
No,
for the next
I
10?
can tell you, with talking with the new fire chief, that this fire, actually one of the fire trucks is going to be replacing, probably not past state specs.
Is that,
Say that again?
But the current fire truck that we have will not probably pass state specs.
Correct. Because it does not pump enough gallons.
so that pumper, the tank?
Engine one, yeah, is the one we're looking to replace for fire standards in the state of New Hampshire.
So it's a matter of it's not, is it, would it pass because it's not like up to par, like
It's not-
maintenance
state
wise?
specs. Yes, no, state specs.
State specs on
State
how
specs,
many
you
gallons
have to
you
be
pump per minute. and
qualified as
everything.
a truck, fire truck.
No, I understand that, but I'm just wondering like why is, I'm trying to different, is it because the truck is old and the standards have changed? Or is it because the maintenance, is it because it's like not functioning properly? Okay.
Yeah, not
That's-
maintenance issues.
And it's also, it's open.
Like, I know it's old, but is it because like it's old and it's not functioning properly, or it's just standards? Because there's a difference. If it's because it's like dilapidated because lack of care,
It pumps the amount of water that it's designed to pump.
it's
That's
just,
what you're asking.
thank you.
But the standard for pumping certain gallons per minute
has
has
changed.
changed. And it doesn't meet that standard.
Okay.
And
That makes like a big difference for me, like, because,
And the idea is we're going to look to sell that truck once the new one comes in, and the money that's made from that truck will go towards the purchase, to go buy down the purchase lease. So hopefully we won't be in the purchase lease for 10 years, and we're waiting for 5 years.
Yeah.
And right now, I think this is about the best time, if we're to replace it, to get the biggest bang for that truck.
well, the 515, when I was talking in here, like I was hearing that it was a lot more. To buy one, so. if
No,
it's on-
that's what, and they will be looking at the 3 bids, you know, when you're looking to make sure that's better done and whatnot, but, yep. Well, that's what I was doing.
So vote on it?
Yeah, let's vote.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Article G, to see if, we still have to do this one, right? Because
So
if
you
that one
do it,
fails.
so I guess you would say you wouldn't recommend, I mean, because if you would, I don't know how you want to handle it, if you want to recommend it or not. You could say,
Yeah, I could,
but if you think recommend it in case Article G, AF doesn't pass.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Article G, to see if the town will vote to raise or appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the fire department replacement vehicle capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required. I recommend this in case Article F fails.
So when we go to town meeting, if Article F passes,
Then you vote.
Then G doesn't even.
Then, yeah. Article
so then
G
you
doesn't get-
skip G?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's why that language is in there, saying if it passes, Article G will no longer be considered. So
Okay.
Jack will skip over that.
So then I think it would make sense, well, personally, for me, it would make sense for me to recommend it.
Yeah.
Because if they say no to this,
Yeah.
we're gonna say then, yes, we want
Yeah, we
this.
want that, yeah.
And then if they say, yeah,
If they say yes, then.
Yeah.
we don't even know.
we don't even have to talk about it.
Yeah. So I recommend it.
Yep.
Are you seconding?
I'm seconding.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Article H, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the Public Safety Complex Capital Reserve Fund previously established. Majority vote required. I will recommend this.
Oh, second.
Discussion?
How much should we have in this?
Can't be much because it was,
41,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, it's not that much.
yeah, it hasn't been that long since it was established.
It's only established like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know everybody like, "Rah."
And I see not all select board members were for it. Oh, that's fine.
I would like to switch over. Who was that one? Who was the number one?
Watch the video.
No.
Watch
Any,
myself.
any discussion on this one?
It makes sense to, I mean, if we had the money in the budget to do more, I would, but
Yeah.
because I personally think that it's long-term the way to go.
Right.
It makes sense to have one building to take care of and not several. In a town of our size, like everybody hears safety complex and they freak out because they think of something like the size of Farmington or the size of like whatever other big town, but like realistically, you could have something the size of Farmington, but have like your municipal police, fire,
We have
and
everything there.
you could literally have everything, and then you have like one building you're repairing, maintaining, insuring. Heating.
Electric.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then you could say like, let's, do X, Y, and Z to make it. I mean, we have a bunch of dilapidated old buildings that Yeah, you were
What
spending.
happened to the other building? If we built a big safety.
Well,
This happens, Patty, it's like 20 years down the road.
yeah, it's years down the
I mean, I don't mind putting money away for rainy day, but I definitely don't want to see the cart jump out of the stall before.
Well, I can tell you,
Because
we
we've
have
seen
no-
that happen
We
before.
have no, at least I can tell you from my perspective, Mike can speak for himself, but there is no plans to say in the next 2 years, 3 years, to say, we're gonna build a public safety building.
Yeah, because what you need, because I looked
Didn't
into
we
it.
spend some money doing some, looking at the
Research.
land with research and stuff already, because they were pushing it a few years and it was like, it cost
That was,
like
that was
27.
probably, I think, the,
For the highway
yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably like 9 years ago.
And when they did it, when they did their research and when they proposed it, it was very, very rushed. So of course
Well, I
it
just felt
sounded,
like the cart was jumping right out of the stall.
I think they got very ambitious in their excitement or their vision got carried away versus like slowing down and like doing the homework and doing like a thorough proposal.
Yeah.
Because realistically, like financially in the long term, it does make sense. I mean, if you walk through like the fire department, like the building is like holding on by a hope and a wish and maybe like a couple of rolls of duct tape in some areas, like honestly.
Thick paint.
Yeah, and
Nice, Chris.
I mean, like, let's say it what it is. Like, the building, it served its purpose, but, you know, in 10, 15 years, please sit down. We're not going to be able to, if we have to go to something like Farmington does for staffing, we're not going to be able to have that building. Like, even right now, like, I spoke with, I think it was like the fire marshal, whoever, a couple of years ago when I was on the board, of like bringing in staff and finding out, like, can we have actual staff that stay there for 12 hours a day? Because you have to have certain like standards of workspace, please sit. And if you don't have, reach those standards, then you can't do it. So, you know, down the road, when it's needed to have staffing there more often, like that building is not gonna suffice. And then you're gonna have
We will
to,
never be farming them, but they're not, they have so many, you know, like, their population is more than double than ours.
oh, I mean, it definitely is, but I mean,
Yeah, but for how much longer?
well, and you know, 10 years ago when we built the school, my big question was like, is that school gonna be big enough? And I was told, we'll never grow, we'll never get anything bigger, and like, look at us now, so, I know. So it's just, you gotta like kind of prepare,
So, I'm not against rainy day funds.
yeah.
No, that is, but the idea is we're looking at long-term, which is why it's only 10,000, but
Yeah.
eventually so we can have some type of seed money to start to say, yeah, this is.
So
what we're going
basically,
to
it's
have.
my kids are gonna have to worry about it, not me.
Yes, yes.
I'll be gone.
There you go.
Yeah, my kids will have to worry about it, I'll be gone.
Write that in your will. You are stuck with this.
All right, all in favor?
I.
Article I, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the medical equipment capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required.
This was started last year, wasn't it?
Yes, 3 years ago.
I will recommend it.
I second this.
Discussion?
You guys got all of your equipment so far, right? Now this is just
This
for
was for the,
the
kind of
Zoll.
for the earmark for if we have to replace the Zoll.
But we made it generic, so it's not specific to
Right.
Canada.
Yeah.
And I know that Karen's been working with Andrea and on the EMS side to make sure that the equipment is up to par and where they need to be, so we wanna make sure we're.
You know, it'll be as expensive as if it ever needs to be replaced. And
It's like a
if it goes down, it's
40,000.
gotta be replaced. 'Cause we can't run the ambulance without it.
And it's probably making it more use now.
Hopefully not.
Well,
But if it's bringing in money, then no.
I'm saying, but it could potentially be used more.
All right, let's vote.
Oh,
All in favor?
I.
All right, I have a quick question. So like the ones that don't have, like it's not
The
raised.
monetary, you still need to go to, because they have money in them.
All right, Article J. To see, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $28,049.70 to be added to the Highway Department Capital Reserve Fund previously established. Such sum representing the amount of income received in 2024 from the cell phone tower and said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised from taxation. Majority vote required. I will recommend it.
I'll second it.
How much do we get? How much?
It is up to 90, probably like 104,000 now. So this was designed back when we when they put in the cell phone tower, they earmarked the money that, the proceeds that come from the cell phone tower to go towards the highway department capital reserve fund. And we can't just deposit the money that we get in to that account. It has to go through the taxpayers ultimately still have to continue to vote to move that money from one, that's what it was earmarked initially.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
Have we used any of the
That's
money?
what TRA tells us we have to do, so it has.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
And so that's why it's an odd amount, because that's just the 12 months of income that we've received from the cell phone tower.
Have we used any of it?
No. Not that I'm aware of, no.
What could it be used for?
It's for the highway capital department capital reserve fund, which is their building.
To take care of that.
Because it was initially earmarked so that they could build that building down on Ridge Road.
So
So if it ever happens,
eventually.
Well, but I don't know if
Now
you've ever
for
been over
public
to their
safety.
current building. I'm sure it needs some.
it's about 3 steps away from the fire department.
Yeah.
Description.
It's got a little bit more duct tape.
Yeah. Those guys know how to weld, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright. Article K, to see if the town will vote.
Not yours.
It's so quiet. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,000 to be used to purchase accounting software, data conversion, and training for new accounting system with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised by taxation. Majority vote required. I will recommend it.
I'll second it. Is this to get rid of Sage?
Yes.
What are you guys looking at? MRI?
Well, I think it's MTS, but MRI.
Yeah. All right.
So what does that, is that like a much better system?
They're a government, there's a governmental software.
I think it takes sort of.
And it would allow for the bookkeeper, I'm not, she needs a better job title. That one, I'm assuming if she has questions and stuff, she'll actually have support, whereas with Sage, it's really, you're self-guiding yourself, so you're faking. I think that'd be great.
Some of these, like the CRM, it's all government accounting, it's all like government accounting software, so like everything is kind of like.
It's designed for-
DRA,
yeah.
But basically you would have this and DRA's here and all you have to do is enter it in.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, we have to take this piecemeal it together to come up with what's DRA. And then we won't have to have these things that are off to the side, like say conservation, ambulance department, all these things. that are-
It's designed specifically
Yes.
for municipal.
Yes.
How much is the system?
Well,
Is
total
it-
overall is 29, and that's, so we have to do a conversion.
Yeah.
That's actually not, I
And
mean,
then
bad.
the annual charge is compared with what we get for Sage.
That's, I mean,
That's not bad at all.
honest, I mean, considering like, I don't know, looking at it from like, when the hospital went and did their big conversion, it was like,
Yeah.
a lot.
We, in my town, we're looking at, updating our finance and all that stuff, and we're looking at like $360,000 for the software that we're gonna hopefully get.
Well, and then I think it'd just probably be more accurate
And then
Yeah.
was a system that was recommended by our auditor.
Is this a system, I mean, I guess I could go look at the meeting videos, but is this a system that, like, does the system talk with Avatar?
Yes.
It does, so it's not any
It'll
manual
talk-
entry or?
Correct. So it'll talk with Avatar, it'll talk with, and then it will have the ability to, like, say, the department heads will have the ability to go in and talk their own expense reports.
Oh my God.
And stuff like that. Yes.
That's so good.
From 1985 to like
I'm so excited for this.
when's the club button?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. And absolutely need it. Okay. Article L. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be used for ZBA, zoning board adjustment, legal litigation fees, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised by taxation. I will recommend it to talk about it.
You just recommend, yes.
I just recommend it.
Yeah. Recommend it and we talk. Yeah.
This is litigation that's ongoing currently right now.
So,
Did you have to do with the current year's budget for?
yeah, they're way over, but and they're only asking for 3,000
But that's
again.
because.
Because of this.
Yeah.
Is the 15,000 gonna cover?
That's what was recommended, that was what was given to us as the building, we did not come up with that number came from CPA. Someone can up that, all you have to do is recommend, either you're gonna recommend it or not.
Right.
The townspeople-
Because we can't change, we don't change anything.
No,
just
we can't.
recommend it.
Just say
All
yay.
you're voting on tonight is whether you recommend the warrant article or not.
I mean, I hate that we're having to spend this much money for something again, but, I mean, it is what it is and we have to do it. I worry that it's not gonna be enough.
Then you can change it at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that maybe at that point in time, maybe somebody might know if it needs to be changed. Not that I know, I'm not to be that, so.
Yeah.
So would it be at the town meeting, the line that would be changed, wouldn't be changing this, right? You'd be changing the legal line.
No, you
No,
can
no,
vote
change the
to,
warrant. This is a one-time warrant article, one
Yeah.
event. So basically, we're voting on it this year, for this year only. It's gonna be, they're asking for an additional $15,000 for this year only. And so what they could do is say, oh, we want that to be 20,000, but somebody might have an inclination that it's gonna be more, or maybe it might be less, but I don't think anybody will reduce it.
Yeah.
That's assuming there's enough funds for that.
Unassigned, it's coming from unassigned.
No, but I mean-
There's money in the unassigned,
Okay.
otherwise we wouldn't be.
But I meant more than there's enough to
Yep,
cover
yes.
increasing it a significant amount.
Yes, correct, yeah, no, we do have some more wiggle
Oh.
room if they want to increase that, but yes, yep.
Oh, all right. All in favor?
Wait a minute, do we have a recommendation?
she recommended, I seconded,
Yeah.
and
And then, now we're voting. Yeah, yeah, because then if they want to change that, we can change there. All in favor? Or,
how much did they, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm in favor of it, I just worry it's not gonna be enough, but, I mean, we
well,
can.
we can recommend it,
Yeah,
and then.
yeah, and I mean, I would definitely recommend that versus going over our budget.
Yeah. Alright. So I'm aye, you're aye.
Aye.
Aye. Alright. Article M. To see if the town will vote to raise or appropriate the sum of $6,000 to be used to purchase GIS mapping software with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised by taxation. Majority vote required. I will recommend it.
I'll second.
So this is the CAI,
Yeah.
which is what, like all our area towns, and I came and gave a presentation, about, it all has, and Robert probably can speak to it a little bit more, she's been doing
You're doing good.
So, no, that's fine, so it's, so like if you'll have access to
Go
front
online.
hall. Yeah, you'll be able to sit in front of your hall without having to come up to the town meeting, town hall, if you had to do like a butters list, it actually can drill down on
Yeah.
so many different things, and all of our area towns have this
They sure do.
technology, and it's great.
And they love
really
it.
is.
Yeah, they love
And
it.
it's super,
So what else can you look at other than like others?
Well, so you can open up your tax card
Yeah.
and
Oh.
so your
Yeah.
tax
Yeah.
card will be on
I'm
there.
okay for that,
Do
sorry.
you see like the blueprint of your house too?
Well,
Because that's
there's
what it's about.
add-ons too that we can do later on.
In this is the 6,000 for this year, then it's
No,
annually
the
3,000.
6,000 is you purchase it and there's like a 22, I think it's like 22 or 3,000.
3,000 a year.
That includes the, that will go in, the 3,000 will go into the operating budget.
Operating, that's what I was wondering.
This is
when I saw it.
implementation and the cost, you know, the.
Initial.
That's not.
And then every year after this will be 3,000 unless they go up.
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Well, see, no, it's not gonna, it's all kind of based off of what's your population in town.
Oh, no, that,
Which is like.
Yeah, it's like a 17.
oh, that's right, I remember it used to be, they had between this
so
amount and this
it's
amount
just
and
what
this
we
amount.
have.
Yeah,
people
it'll
that
just
amount.
be like our
Did
normal
that.
tax cards, because they'll get our tax cards from Avatar,
Yeah.
and that will be what we can access on them. I love that matching, it's really good.
It is pretty.
Do you guys have it here? Do you know?
And Elliot, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Wolfboro has it, New Durham has it,
Everybody, I think we would
Literally-
really maybe Stratford County that does it.
yeah.
It's like 3/4 of Stratford County has it.
Somebody-
The rest have a different program than, everybody that has this
Some of them
particular
are
one.
very detailed, but
They have a different program?
Yeah, there's another one,
Like,
like two other ones.
But
They did?
initially, this is gonna be.
Yeah. Ocean's one.
Well, and I imagine having this will really
Yeah.
alleviate the workload for all the people calling for
Yes.
Yeah,
silly things.
and you can, yeah,
Hopefully,
easily
they
point back.
eliminate calls Robin's gonna.
So that it can be more productive versus dealing.
Yeah,
with
Robin,
that.
she can be more productive.
Yeah,
Well, not that she's not, but like, who wants to?
Christine.
I'm not saying that you're not, but like, you can do things that you need to do versus like answering a question.
yeah.
Be more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Running around giving people's.
Yes.
Go for it.
Some
All right,
contractors.
let's vote. All
Aye.
in favor? Aye. Article N, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to add to the existing expendable trust fund for the purpose of treating milfoil and other exotic aquatic species, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised by taxation, majority vote required. I'll recommend it.
I'll second.
This is coming from the conservation, they were asking for, because they got, there is some work that's being done.
Don't we usually have a milfoil one though?
Yeah, we haven't had a mill for like 4 years, because they've had money in it, but now they're starting to spend it. That's what happened.
We better do one tree, so, yeah. But they do get money.
Lots of times they have the grants which are 50% covered by the state, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
But now I think some of that funding has come down something.
And there is somebody who donates like
Some, yeah,
Yeah.
$1,500, so, I mean, I agree with it, so. Yeah, I don't use it. But I mean, not for nothing, but it's like even the non-lake people on the other side of the dam, other side of the trails. But like, no, you gotta think of the health of the lake because that's a selling point for this town, one selling point, believe it or not. Because without our property values, you'd be paying a lot more in taxes. Just saying.
I did not buy here for that leak, I will tell you that.
Doesn't part.
Go ahead.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. I know you're making faces behind my back. I made you too long.
Article O, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum not to exceed $25,000 to be used to equip the highway truck with plow gear, body, and hydraulics, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised by taxation, majority vote required.
I thought this was the.
I'll recommend it.
I'll second it.
There you
So
go.
this is for the latest truck that they just purchased.
I thought we
Oh.
voted, when we voted to buy the truck, we voted to.
So no, wait a minute, this is the latest truck, this is the truck that they've been waiting 2 or 3 years, but that one finally done.
Yeah.
And that was a warrant article, like, for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Finally happened. And then this one is to replace that Terrace Star. They used the block grant money to purchase the truck, because they just got it from the Cresios. They're using the remaining money, I think, from the capital reserve, from their capital reserve funds, for the replacement vehicle. And this is just to cover above and beyond that, which might be, because I think that's like 70,000 to equip that might have.
There's the
So this
plow,
is-
the wing, and the
Yeah, so
bed.
this is just to cover the remaining balance, which is, so I think they had like 50,000, so they needed another 25. So, and then this will give them pretty much a full current fleet that, because I can tell you the Terra Star broke down in the last snowstorm, and they had to haul it back. We just spent like $10,000.
Which one is that? Is that the,
That piece of
Yeah,
POS
it's the
that's
smaller one that's
out
out there.
is that the one that they've been complaining about
Yes,
before?
right.
That they want to get rid of? Okay.
And the opportunity came up that they had money in the block grant, which is what, I have to say, they've been very good about money in the block grant have been used to purchase these big trucks and without us having to go and do a purchase lease agreement. And there was a truck available and they could get it and they've been having problems with that tear set, so they want to be able to replace that as soon as possible. Because we're
I
not
believe the
getting,
new
we're not
truck's
getting
older
money for
than
that
the
truck. It's
The what one?
The new truck is next door.
The new plow, the big plow, or the,
That and the one they just
Yeah,
purchased, that one
okay.
is next
It's
door.
already,
They're just gonna do a flatbed, he was
Yeah.
saying, because you're not gonna waste the money on another dump, because they don't need it.
Yeah.
So putting the money just where it needs for a plow, using it
Yeah.
for plowing and salt and sanding. So
I know they paid
really
that other one forever.
yeah,
It's like broke down more than it
Yeah.
runs, so it makes sense, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So which would be nice, we'll come out and we'll have no debt to any of the, pretty much a whole new fleet for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they've done the smart thing of getting all the stainless,
yes.
Yeah.
which is smart.
all right, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
You're almost done.
I know, I already counted in my head.
You
how
know,
many
I'm really disappointed that she just didn't do a Z to do the whole alphabet.
Well,
You couldn't,
You couldn't find one more?
no, I could've.
Article P, to see if the town will vote to establish a municipal building improvements capital reserve fund for the purpose of improvements to the municipal building and to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be placed in fund, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised by taxation. Furthermore, to name the board of selectmen as agents to expend from said fund. Majority vote required. All recommend it?
I'll second.
So we'll let you know, we have no capital reserve for,
No, we do not.
and we were fortunate that we had ARPA funds left over from this year to pay for the new heating system we had to put in the building, which cost us $20,000. Otherwise, I don't know where that money would have come from. Mike wouldn't have gotten his selectman salary. So the idea was to set up this to, so if we hopefully over there, we haven't had any major repairs, but at least this kind of starts getting us some money there if something happens.
It's really kind of odd that one hasn't been made for,
I know.
because there's one for
All the other.
everything.
Actually, I don't even know about the.
Oh, if not, we're
Yeah,
gonna have to
there
buy
used
you
to
guys
be
a
one
case
for
of
the
that.
Old Town Hall, which does, they haven't put any money in, which is.
Because that's not even on here either, Old Town Hall one.
No, but there is one, but there's some money in there, and I'm like, hey, I can spread the money. I could have had a Z there, could have had a Z right there.
Well, you found it. You just use all of the rental money, which it's not like it's a lot. 'cause it's-
I don't know, we rented quite a bit,
But
actually.
how come that there's not,
Why
That
don't we,
money
why
goes
don't we do this
Yes,
stuff first?
I know, we'll
and then
talk about that
we
later.
can discuss that.
we can plan for 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, right.
Um,
Oh, you want to-
Let's vote.
yeah,
I'm in favor.
I'm in favor.
Aye.
Alright. Oh, okay. Article Q, to see if the town will vote to establish a police gear and equipment capital reserve fund for the purpose of purchasing police gear and equipment and to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be placed in a fund, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised by taxation. Furthermore, to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend from said fund, majority vote required. All recommend it?
So again, similar to, we have this for the medical, but we don't have anything that if somebody has to come in here and buy police gear, they only have like 3,000, I don't even know how much it is on their line, but, we don't have a lot of money in our operating budget, so we're trying to establish these reserve funds so that we don't have to hit the operating budget, something like that. I'm sure it's not very much.
No, I don't even, would that be under their uniforms?
They might know, we like equipment, like radios or
yeah.
something like that.
Gun knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, just in general, so.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like all these they're all pretty much like kind of, I don't want to say common sense, but
How do we not have these already?
yeah,
We're working.
it makes sense to do this so things don't yo-yo.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're not throwing it into the budget either.
Right, we're
Yeah.
trying to-
Yeah.
So this was new.
Yeah,
All
all,
it's a new CRF. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
because we didn't.
because I read a copy and I didn't, Oh, sorry, guys.
Trying to help save on the budget here.
Yep, I sure was. That's exactly what I thought of when I hit this stand button. All in favor?
I,
Okay. Article R, to see if the town will vote to establish a fire gear and equipment capital reserve fund for the purpose of purchasing fire gear and equipment and to be raised and to be raised and to, oh my God, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $20,000 to be placed in fund with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised by taxation. Furthermore, to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend from said fund, majority vote required.
I'll make a motion.
You recommend it?
I recommend it.
I'll second it.
So again, this is the same deal as the police. Fire gear, Mike, you can speak to it, like, I think fire gear for one person is like,
Yes.
$4,500.
Yeah, and the fire unit just keeps going up now. I think we just got one set in here, and it was like $7,000.
This is your turn on gear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys all just get a few years ago?
Most of us have all new gear, but with the new guys we have
Yeah.
coming in, I think right now we have, for the last month, I want to say we've got 5 guys that just joined, that we were able to use some of the gear
I was gonna ask.
prior people. So,
And this- and
we've
this-
really grown in the last month.
And this just isn't like fire gear, it's equipment, so like if they need hoses for the trucks and stuff like it, you know, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Stuff is,
You left it kind of generic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why it's got that.
Or the way to do it.
Yeah. No, I'd rather do it that way. but-
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Almost there, guys. Article S, to see if the town will vote to establish a preservation of historical records capital reserve fund under the provisions of RSA 35:1 for the purpose of preserving the town of Middleton records and to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be placed in this fund, with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised by taxation. Furthermore, to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend from said fund, majority vote required. I'll recommend it.
I'll second it. So, what is it?
So this is the, for the line, like, cause we budget money
Yeah, for
for,
like one book, it's like
Yeah,
one book.
it's like-
So this is to try and do more books and part of this is to put stuff, make it available online,
So is it, so somebody like come
So
in and
makes
scan it?
sense.
you know?
Yeah.
So, because what we do now is, so that book last year, if you were at the town meeting last year, John, August, found in his house, which
Yeah.
was totally in pristine condition, couldn't believe it. That book was the book we picked this year because it's our oldest book we have in town now. That got sent down to be preserved and to be taken care of. And that basically, what was in our
ate up the
budget,
whole budget
It,
almost.
yes, ate up everything but $200. And part of that was, they preserve it, but they were putting it all on like a PDF, so it's actually, we can make it available for people who want to peruse our history and all.
So what do they do when they preserve it? Not to somebody.
Put it in like, like special,
So they just like wrap it?
No, it's,
and they do like a special binding with it and
special
that stuff.
coating, special
Yeah,
binding, yeah.
it's actually really cool
It is pretty
to
cool.
see them.
You should go, yeah, you should stop over. Yeah, where is
Is it like your whole family?
Teresa is the whole thing.
But yeah, and
Yes, actually, it's funny you say this, because I was looking for, I needed to find the marriage certification of a marriage between, I think it's like my 4th grade grandfather. And I couldn't find it in any records.
So it was in the book?
It was in the book.
that is pretty cool.
You need that.
That is pretty cool.
Because I was applying to the Daughters of America. And I made it through my grandmother's side, but this puts me through the tough side.
I guess.
So yeah, I found it. It was kind of interesting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really interesting to read. It really is.
Roxanne's like that,
Does-
founding.
Does Teresa keep those books in the clerk office or they?
Those books are to be kept. I believe she keeps them in the fireproof. We have fireproof cases upstairs, but there's also downstairs.
Yeah.
Those are to be kept in those fireproof cases because that way they're protected.
Anything, yeah.
We should probably get the fireproof cases downstairs because I'll end up downstairs. if
No,
there's a
there are,
fire.
I think some quite a few, there, we do have a big fireproof, fire cabinet upstairs, but I think they should keep some of them.
Because I know at one point that I just in the vault, I use that very loosely, but they had the one that was like an actual fireproof cabinet, and that thing was like chock full of old records. But then there were still other old records that couldn't fit in there, so they were just
Right, so because in case you don't know, and I think most everybody does now though, it's like, and there's a link out on the town website, it's like all, I would say 95% of the town's town annual reports, all of them from that, when they can start,
Yeah.
are out at UNH. Yeah. And you can go out and look.
Yeah,
at
you
them.
can.
Do you go to the UNH's website?
Actually, there was
There's a link on our page.
Yeah, there
is. If you like
All right,
UNH town annual reports, it'll take you in, and you can see like every town.
Yeah, that was done by the students, right? And it's some
They did that, yeah, they got COVID, I think they did it maybe for COVID and whatever.
Yeah,
but
because
they got
it's
funded.
over the last few
Yeah,
years.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
Well, that's handy.
What-
Go back
Yeah,
years
something
ago. Years ago, they used to list what people, how much land they owned and
Yeah.
all this different stuff, you know, up until, what was it?
What's it?
1970.
We actually have to
Seven,
refer to that
76, or-
fairly often too, to find out like when towns were accepted by the road, or
Yeah.
the roads were accepted by the town,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff like that, and the history.
So, yeah, but so this is the idea is to preserve those reports and stuff in a more timely manner.
Yeah.
And again, the idea is also we're available now and we're gonna try and get them so that they can be, put them up online so people have the ability to look at those without having to come into the office.
Right.
So you had a couple of the board selectmen that didn't recommend it, is it because of the money? Probably, they didn't.
I don't know, I believe Mike was one of the ones that didn't recommend it.
Okay.
I was, and the only reason why is because when I didn't recommend it, I wasn't 100% sure what it was.
Oh, okay.
And then we had voted on it, so.
I think it's very important.
Oh, absolutely.
As much history.
Because Howard Roxton never.
I know, she
I
never
know,
would have
all
found
our
it.
family.
There's probably more stuff dated back further.
It's probably also.
Just read about her whole family line right there.
All right, so let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's your last one, Sarah.
Huh?
That's the last one you have to vote on.
I don't have to do anything else?
No,
But wait a
the
minute,
remaining-
oh, wait.
The remaining ones are non-monetary in value.
Oh, you're
As far
right.
as, like, taken from the budget, the rest
Oh,
of them
my
are, it's like the
Oh,
elderly exemption and the veterans credit, so you don't have, because that doesn't affect.
Oh.
What is the veterans credit one?
So, yeah, what does that change
What?
for the veterans?
What does it change? It gives them, you give them, they're getting a, it's a, here's, will get a higher credit.
Yeah, you're giving them a higher credit. Right now, it's 500, is it 500 or is it 400?
No, it's 500, so it's gonna, it's looking to go to 750.
Which is the max, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, and then we
The
have
veterans
like
credit's
the income
400
limits.
for the regular.
So probably should.
And, oh, okay. And then,
We increased like exemption allowances because it was a blue gal, it was like, they were like low amounts of 25.
but it's not all of their insurance, it's only like wartime veterans.
Right.
There's
Qualify for it.
certain, but, so the also thing too though with the, at least, I mean, Robin can correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a little while since I've been in assessing, but, the way that the last one is kind of left open, it allows for, you know, veterans who are, like our age to also get it.
Or like non-wartime.
Yeah,
Because
because
right
the
now
war
it's-
hasn't ended yet. Yeah, there's certain time periods that you have to have served during.
And you have
The last one is still open.
And some of them you have to have, like, you can have served, but you have to have a medal, a certain medal to qualify.
That's $400, and if you're totally disabled because of a service-related
Injury.
condition, it's $2,000.
So we didn't want to up that one, we only wanted to up the spouse,
No, we have all of them. They were all up.
well, because,
Right, Robert?
Well, I don't know, I haven't seen what you actually, I know we talked about it.
because this only has the, regular, for the standard, an optional one at to $750. And then you're increasing the surviving spouse tax credit to $1,000. But the totally disabled veteran is not listed on here.
That's also, that's already kind of generous, it's a $2,000 credit, it's a credit.
Right, but it's also like, because the surviving spouses also would fall in under this.
That one was not recommended to us. If I understand that correctly, that one.
I don't know, I have to.
It was given to us by the processing.
Yeah, I know John doesn't qualify.
So chat,
I get a little bit, I get my notes.
all right.
But yeah, but Roxanne's right, the deduction for, the deduction for the elderly is like almost worth nothing now, the revaluation is now.
But did they give it?
So,
We looked at surrounding towns.
yeah,
Did this, so.
Which ones?
Article B, but even still, like,
Which one's you?
huh?
There's you and you, that's, elderly exception is you, and then there's two of them?
So that's how much you're gonna earn, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's, you have to be under a certain income limit.
Okay, yeah,
And it was like
yes.
poverty.
So it's not
Yeah.
just, it's not just age, it's age
It's
and
both.
income.
Yeah.
Yes, yep,
And assets, age and, assets and income.
yeah, you're right.
And we do require proof of that.
I did
Yep.
have it. It must be mine on the pile. When we-
Who didn't agree to those?
Huh? You don't agree because they're not a.
Oh, I know, but it was 401.
She's asking
Who said no?
To what one?
The U and V.
and W.
The board of selectmen, no, somebody abstained, is that an abstention?
No,
No,
Wait.
yeah, I think that might have been an abstention. I don't oh, it was Bonnie because she was.
oh, because she wasn't on the
Well,
board.
she was on the board, but she's new, so she didn't,
Okay,
She didn't have all the,
yeah. She,
well, that makes sense.
because, yeah, I think that was the first night she sat. And so she was like, but she understood all the budget number stuff, so she was good with that.
Okay, so then at this point, I can close the public meeting, public hearing portion. That's closed. 7:18. All right. Look at that. The budget stuff is done.
You can sleep tonight.
I can.
I don't have
So
to-
fret about it.
So the only question I have to use there is, can you print out what you have there?
Yeah.
Or email it to
Yep.
BOS, and then so then we can sit with
Yeah.
you and get that in. Once that's ready and approved by DRA, we'll reach back out to you to let you know for the people to come.
Because we have, what day, when is our deadline? I know we have to have the budget by you, to you, 2 copies to you by the 19th, which is next Wednesday.
Right, so if we can get it in now, which is fine, so you rep it, so if we can get it in now, because then we have to have it by that Monday posted, we have to have it posted at the, at the poll.
Oh, yeah.
places. We have to have the DRA stuff in
Oh, you're
the warrants, budget warrants posted, so if we can get it in this week, we can get you to sign it Monday, in the next couple of days after that.
Yeah.
We'll be in good spot. because
are we
don't
gonna
have
have
to worry about
electronic sign like we did the school?
I don't know, let me tell you something, that electronically signing thing is a pain.
No,
And I
what
know
we'll
what.
do is
It was
just have it in the office and you just stop in the municipal building and sign it.
Okay.
That's what we would say, at your convenience, because, Mike will be in there.
Okay.
You when you drop Ben off, and I'm assuming,
Over with the slippers.
Nicole can get in there anytime. Because Kim will have it, so it's not gonna be like,
We have to have somebody.
Teresa's hours or whatever. It'll be someone in there from 8 to 4, Monday through,
Alright,
at least,
that works for me then. Yep, okay, well then.
And so I would recommend that you cancel Monday night's meeting.
Yes, I'm good with canceling
I
Monday,
am too.
Monday the 20th. 17th, it's not even the 20th. Monday the 17th, done, canceled. I don't even know that it's posted. I think it is posted. I don't know.
It's on the, it's on the.
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't gonna be here. No. And they have school that day.
Do you want
Maybe
to do the
2.
minutes? What about the minutes? You wanna
we-
wait?
Wanna
Did
just
you-
table them until next month?
Yeah, can we just?
I just tabled the meeting minutes, yeah.
I will read them.
Um,
I'm just not gonna bring copies again.
no, I will keep them. I will,
Did you fix the thing that I,
Yes.
Okay.
I did that. The school's name was spelled. And I didn't get the date on the February one. Okay, so those.
that's alright, so I will make a motion to table the meeting minutes from February 3rd and January 20th to our next meeting in March.
Are we gonna have our March meeting where
I
it's
have
like,
no idea, as of,
You need to have your March meeting, you should, because that'll be having a new board, so you can
Yeah.
have your officers.
oh, that's a good point, I guess.
yeah.
And to prepare you for your.
So I'm 2 for 2, put that to the March meeting. Yeah, so, did anybody second that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn at
7:22.
7:22.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.